Jennette the Middle Meeple here, and in this video, we're doing something a little bit different. We're taking a look at the top 10 2016 board game releases that I think would make great band names. So what I've done is went through pretty much most of the titles for 2016 releases, and without taking an account of the gameplay or any of the theme or anything, strictly using the name of the game, I thought about what my favorites were, so I generated a top 10 list, and what type of music it would be, what genre of music. Now obviously I'm into a lot of metal, so there's a lot of metal influences on this list, though there is some punk rock and stuff too. Anyway, and I'm also going to give you 2 examples of each game that I talk about. So we're going to start off on our number 10, 51st State, the Master Set, which is released by Portal Games. Now, this came out in 2010, but it also got re-released in 2016. So we're just going to call it 51st State. And this would be like a punk or a hardcore punk band in the same vein as Rise Against, or Rage Against the Machine, maybe even like a Black Flag, stuff like that, where it's kind of like got that little bit of anarchy, anti-government inside of the political statements and things like that. So anyway, 51st State is a punk hardcore band. Number 9, we're going to go with The Last Friday by Aries Games. Now, this would be sort of like a emo slash post-hardcore band. And if you're not familiar with that genre it's, you know, you had like the punk rock, which is, you know, the fast-paced garage kind of stuff. Then it went on to hardcore. It was a little bit more, I guess, heavier in a way. Post-hardcore is what punk rock ended up turning into in modern day, basically. It's got a little bit more of metal influence into it and stuff, and it has some singing and everything. It's kind of like, it's a good mix. Anyway, so some bands that I would suggest to look at for this title, The Last Friday, would be Silverstein or Census Fail. Those are excellent bands, and it's interesting to hear the Last Friday. I think that would be a cool title of a emo style band. So, number 8 is the Tyrants, but Tyrants of the Underdark. This is by Gale Force 9, and I think this would make an excellent deathcore band. Now, there is a difference between death metal and deathcore. Without getting in too much detail, deathcore is a little bit more technical and has what's called breakdowns, where it's a lot of open chugs and people are just mosh pitting away and everything. So, some bands to look at for that would be Chelsea Grin and At the Throne of Judgment, which At the Throne of Judgment is no longer a band, which doesn't matter. You can see all this stuff on YouTube and everything, and I'll type it below and you can just do a search on YouTube, but it's At the Throne of Judgment and Chelsea Grin, Tyrants in the Underdark. You are a deathcore band. Number 7, I went with Scythe. Now, Scythe is by Stonemaier Games, and I think it would make an excellent death metal band. The reason is because it is a death metal band. There is a band called Scythe. They play death metal, and the easiest thing to compare this to, and a lot of people automatically think this sometimes, is Cannibal Corpse. Now, Cannibal Corpse sounds incredibly brutal, I understand. It's just really fast and heavy music. Their lyrical content might be questionable, but you probably can't understand it unless you're attuned to that type of music anyway. So check it out, or if anything, go check out Scythe. I will say that I've never really listened to them that much, so I don't know what kind of lyrics they have, so use your own discretion. Otherwise, just hit up YouTube and type in death metal and you will find plenty of suggestions. Number 6, we have the Daedalus Sentence, or Daedalus Sentence, I believe. I'm going to say this is going to be this is by Eagle Griffin Games, by the way. It was a Kickstarter, I believe, and it came out this year in 2016. And I'm going to say it's like a metalcore band. This sounds definitely like a metalcore band, but not just any metalcore band. I'm going to go with a technical metalcore band. And what I mean by that is August Burns Red And there's another band that's similar to August Burns Red, but they have a lot more singing involved, and it's Erra, E-R-R-A. And so if you listen to it, they've got a lot of technicality to their music, a lot of odd time signatures and things like that. And the Daedalus Sentence just sounds like a really cool technical metalcore band. And I'm actually surprised it hasn't been used, but some of these might have been used in like local bands and things like that. But as far as my research online, they're not a massive band if somebody did use the Daedalus Sentence as a band name. So let's go on to number 5. Our number 5 is Aeons End. Now, Aeons End is Action Phase Games, and what I think this would be cool as is a power metal band. And if you're not familiar with the genre of power metal, it's very, I don't know, I don't want to like take it down a notch, but it's kind of like straightforward beats and everything like that. I don't know, it's very upbeat, but like straightforward. Like they don't really change a whole lot of time signatures, but it's really just like, you know, bang your head kind of music. And 2 bands I would suggest to check out is Children of Bodom and Scar Symmetry. Both of those would be excellent style bands if you were to name your band Aeons End. Number 4 is The Dragon and Flagon. This is by Stronghold Games, and I'm going to say this is going to be Viking metal. Now, there's a very small pool of Viking metal bands, probably the most known at this point, or at least from, you know, my age of growing up, is Amon Amarth, and they are a band that's out right now. I mean, they're still doing stuff. If you want to take it back a notch and go to the early Viking metal, we have Enslaved. So if you check out both those bands on YouTube, this is what I think the Dragon and Flagon band would sound like. Number 3, I went with Cry Havoc. This is by Portal Games. And I'm going to say this is going to be a modern day 80s hair metal band. Now, typically this is just metal or post-hardcore style music, but it is very specific. And what I mean by that is it's got a lot of loud or higher pitched vocals and huge solos that just go on forever, and it's incredibly fun to listen to. 2 bands to check out for this is Blessed by a Broken Heart and Cry Venom. Now, Cry Venom is a newer band. The guitarist came out of my favorite band, which is Falling in Reverse, and he started this band. It's called Cry Venom, so they don't have a lot on YouTube and things like that, but if you type it in, Cry Venom, you will find at least there are a couple titles they have out right now. And this is the style of music that I think Cry Havoc would be with it. You could see the comparison where Cry Venom, Cry Havoc, but whatever. Number 2, we're going with Salvation Road by Van Ryder Games. Now, the way I picture this, and it makes sense based on the title, is a Christian metalcore band. Specifically Christian because there is a entire Christian style of music out there. They have their own bands and everything like that. They do intermingle with other bands as well. But 2 of the most well-known Christian metal bands or metalcore bands that I can think of that would fit Salvation Road would be Memphis May Fire and The Devil Wears Prada. Both excellent bands. Devil Wears Prada is obviously a little bit heavier, although that is not to say that Memphis May Fire is not heavy. They just have a little bit heavier tone to them. Anyway, check out both bands. This is what I think Salvation Road would be. Now, before we go on to our number 1, I'm going to talk about an honorable mention, and that is Millennial Blades. Now, I think Millennial Blades would be, it's not metal in the slightest, it would be more of like a Mumford & Sons type band. You know, you're sitting at the coffee shop, it comes on, you start listening to it. And yeah, I mean, it's like a chill band, you know what I'm saying? Just some rock going on and stuff. Oh, it says Millennium Blades. Well, anyway, let's move on to my number 1. Number 1 is A Feast for Odin. This is by far my favorite title. I've never even played the game yet, actually. But it is by far my favorite title of all these, and I'm going to say this is going to be a metal/metalcore band as well. And 2 bands in specific that I think would fit this type of music would be As I Lay Dying and All That Remains. Both are incredibly good. I don't think either of them are really a band now, but there's plenty of content from both of them, and this is what I would, if I if I was going to make another metalcore band, A Feast for Odin would be up for grabs, man. I'm telling you, it's an excellent title for any kind of metal band. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this list. It was just kind of on the improv. I was talking about it with Tom, and I thought, you know, yeah, that would be a cool idea. I'm just going to do that. And so went through the list over the last couple of days and put it together, and I thought it was a pretty interesting thing and very fitting for the style of you know, the metal meeple moniker that I go by. So anyway, let me know down below in the comments what you thought, if this was a fun list. And until next time, keep on rocking and rolling dice.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.